Hello, and welcome back to Bible Calamity, where we're learning all about how to see God, know God, and love God. On today's episode of Bible Calamity, we are talking about Noah and his ginormous calamity. So, the story goes that everyone on earth was not good. It was bad. Everyone was beating each other up. Everybody was stealing everything from each other. It was terrible, awful. Can I describe it enough how terrible it was? And God saw this, and he looked down on all the earth and decided that he needed to do something because people just could not get it. You would think, after everything they've been through with the Garden of Eden and that paradise going away, you think they'd try a little harder. No, they didn't. Anyway, so this guy Noah is an old dude. He's like 600 years old or something like that when God comes to him. And he's really old. So God comes to him, probably had to speak a little loud because, Noah's old. And he tells Noah, you got to build a boat. You got to build a boat. Now, it's probably a little bigger in this boat. Most likely a little bigger in this boat. But he told Noah to build a boat. And it was this giant boat that was supposed to hold all the animals on it. I probably didn't take fish on board, but it's the only animal I got, so we're going to put a fish on our boat. So, he put all the animals on the boat. They were male and female. There was a whole bunch of them. And to protect all the different kinds of animals on the earth. Now, why were they putting all the animals on the earth? What was going to happen to all the rest of the earth? Well, God said, we got to get rid of this. You know how you've been washing your hands a lot lately? God was like, we got to wash the earth. It's covered in dirty germs called people and sin. Sinful people. So, he sent this giant flood. And with this giant flood, they had to all get in their boats. Just Noah and his family. They had to get in their boats. Their boat. No S. Boat. And so they would be safe. And God gave him specific instructions for this. Now, let's see what those instructions were. God told him to build this out of gopher wood. What's gopher wood? Some kind of tree. But he built it out of gopher wood. And it had to be a certain cubits long. Now, what's a cubit? Cubit is from the tip of your finger to your elbow. And it was very complicated. Nobody really built a boat this big before, ever. It's massive, it's huge. And it came with some very detailed instructions. Yep, these are complicated. I really don't know how he did this, but he did it. And with God's help, he figured it out and was able to complete his task. It took him a long time, but he did do it. It took him quite a while to do this, about 120 years, but he finally finished the boat. And once he finished it, all the little animals, this Mr. Frog, loaded on the boat, and they waited. And they waited. And then the water started to come. The rain started to come. The ground broke up and open, and water came from below. It was water everywhere. The whole earth was covered in water. And you know what? There's people that were left that didn't have a boat. They finally probably understood what it meant to. They probably saw God that moment. They probably understood, God is someone we should worship, we should obey, not somebody we should just ignore or just look at his rule book and then just throw it away. If Noah had just thrown away his instructions, he never would have got finished. He never would have finished the ark, and all of his family would have been destroyed. Everything would have been gone. But Noah listened to God, and he built him a boat. And when he was finished, it was absolutely incredible. It was this massive ship holding all these animals, and God sealed up the doors, and and they were safe. And then it started to rain. And it rained. And it rained. And it rained some more. Did I mention it rained? It rained? Yeah, it kept raining. It rained and it rained and it rained and it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. And the whole earth was covered in water. It was pretty crazy. Imagine being out on the ocean, if you've ever been out in the ocean, looking back and you can't see dry land. That's what Noah experienced. He was out there and could see nothing but water and sky. It was probably pretty terrifying. So, while he was out there though, and the rain finally stopped, after it finally stopped raining, after 40 days and 40 nights, they floated for about a year. It took a year for this water to go back down. A very, very long time. And once the water went down, only some of the mountains were visible. And Noah really wasn't sure it was safe, so he sent out some animals. He sent out 2 birds, and those birds he sent out were supposed to tell him when it was safe to actually open the doors and come outside. So he sent out a dove, and he sent it out several days in a row. It came back with nothing, and it came out with nothing. He waited a little while, he sent it out again, and it came back with nothing. And then he sent it out again, and it came back with this little itty bitty olive branch. Then he waited a little bit longer, and he sent it out again, and the dove didn't come back because it found a place to live. The water was gone. The earth was dry. So it opened the doors and let all the animals free. And him, so they were free. Mr. Frog, you gotta go. You gotta go. You're free. Whee. Mr. Sheep, you gotta go. Whee. There's a penguin. Penguin, you gotta go. Whee. So he let them all free, and then they populated the earth because they were the only ones left. So it was like a new beginning. Noah was kind of like a new Adam. But they didn't really do all that great. They still messed up. There were still a bunch of calamities after that. So it was still not the greatest situation. But still, they started over, and with this new start, God was going to do something great with it. And he was going to change a whole bunch of people's lives. So that's it for the story of Noah. So today we learned all about Noah. We learned about his life, about what he did, what God asked him to do, and what it took for him to do that. It took him a long time. He was very patient. It really hadn't rained really before this. And Noah is building this giant boat for this flood. People were probably laughing at him, calling him crazy for thinking he needed to build a massive ship, bigger than the church building, to escape some flood. They probably thought he was crazy. But see, here's the thing with Noah. He was willing to see God, he knew God, and he loved God. Because he did all 3 of those things, he was able to stay on task, trust God even when it was really hard, and be committed when no one else was. He was the only one that trusted God. He was the only one that knew and loved God. Everyone else had seen God move. They'd seen him do these crazy things before, but he was the only one that knew and trusted and loved God. So, from the story of Noah and his giant calamity with the flood, we need to remember that we also, even though we can see God working around us, we need to know him, learn who he is, learn all about him. You also need to love God. These are 2 really important things. If we leave one out, we're no different than the people that were drowned and in the flood. So we always need to remember, we need to see God, love God, and know God. Until next week.